Good morning. Welcome to Morning Yoga. It is Tuesday, March 24th. And just about an hour ago, the moon went completely dark. We are in this new moon phase. So the energy around this particular phase is still pretty introspective. And last night I was part of a new moon circle through iShine, led by Helen and Julie. If you're here this morning, good morning. And we were talking about, the beginning of the new moon. It's a new moon cycle and the things that you want to bring about during this new moon. And a theme seemed to appear around being authentic and being true with what is in our own hearts. And it reminded me of this practice from Mary Magdalene Reveals by Megan Watterson. She introduces what she calls it as a soul voice meditation. And it's a way to get in touch with our hearts, with our true inner voice. And so I'm going to offer that as an opening meditation this morning. And then we'll continue to work toward opening the heart today, with around through the shoulders, through the arms, and just really get connected with that space of ourselves. So if you wanted to get into a comfortable seat, I do recommend starting seated with this one today, rather than lying back. But again, you can sit on a prop. I'm still sitting on my blanket because that feels a little better for me, but what works for you. And once you get nice and seated, take a moment to feel the sit bones and allow them to ground. And then again, we'll come to that swirly part of the crown of our heads and allow that to lift toward the ceiling so we have this nice long spine. And then maybe your eyes close or your gaze relaxes down. And then take a few moments just to connect to your breath. So right now we're not changing anything, just watching. Being aware of your inhales and exhales. And in just a moment, I'm going to ask that we connect to our heart space. So if you're like me, I like to take a hand on the heart and the opposite hand on top of the other hand. For me, touch helps me guide my awareness. So doing what works for you. Then we'll begin the soul voice meditation just by setting the intention to connect to our heart space. So you may be like me and use sensation, use touch. Or maybe you have a visualization of what your heart space looks like. However you get there is perfect. And when you feel that you're there and you're settled, next intend to meet your truth. Intend to meet your inner voice. You might even consider it your soul. And once you feel you have this connection, feel free to ask anything. And then the big part here is to believe whatever response you receive. Trust that what arises is your true self. your heart, that it's pure love. And then for this last piece of this meditation, bring in some gratitude. Honoring your true self, honoring your heart. You might expand this gratitude out to the teachers who have come before us, to those that have shared these practices. Maybe expand out to, again, those on the front lines of our current pandemic. And to anyone else and anything else. And when you're ready, we'll release this meditation with a cleansing breath. Take a deep inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. And gently allowing your eyes to flutter open. Bringing hands to prayer in front of the heart. And on an inhale, just open hands a little. And on the exhale, we'll bring it right back together. So starting this breath kind of small. On an inhale, open hands maybe a little bit wider. I'm sure this breath, exhale back together. I'm sure this breath has a technical name, inhale, open hands. But I call it the heart hug. And exhale back together. So we'll start to open arms a little wider on the inhale, like we're opening up for a hug. And exhale, bringing hands back together. So your upper body might start to find a cat-cow here. Inhale, opening into an arch. And exhale, we might close into a bit of a round. Inhale, open. At this point, maybe you even find a hug on the exhale, closing arms around you. Inhale, open. And exhale, maybe into your hug. We'll find a few more rounds. Connecting breath with movement. Opening front spine and back spine. Let's do two more. Inhale, arms open wide. And maybe this exhale, you bring your hands right back to the heart and pause. Take a moment to reconnect, to check in. And then when you're ready, eyes gently come open. We'll head into our tabletop. So setting up, again, you have the option of a blanket or any other object underneath the knees if that feels better. Give a little support. But we set up with wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. And coming into our cat-cows here, on an inhale, we'll drop the belly, maybe elbows bend back. Exhale, press into your hands and round. Just a couple of these. Continuing a bit of the movement we did seated. Let's do one more. Inhale, come into the arch. And exhale into the round. And then some freestyle here in your tabletop. So just moving organically this morning. Trusting that if you have a desire to go somewhere, that is where your body needs to move this morning and go there. The more we begin to deepen or trust our intuition, the deeper the connection we'll have with it. We'll begin to trust it more and more. And we'll be able to receive more guidance. A couple more breaths, so evening out something you've done on one side, on the other. We'll meet back at our neutral tabletop. From here, bring your left hand a little closer to in front of the face, and then on an inhale, reach your right fingertips toward the ceiling. From this shape, find a little bend in the elbow and a couple of circles through your shoulder. Just creating a little lubrication around the shoulder joint. And then on an inhale, reach right fingertips toward the ceiling again. As we come into a twist, we're going to needle the right arm underneath of the left. Option here to lower your shoulder to the ground, maybe your head comes to the ground. Left hand might stay where it is for support, or maybe it walks up toward the top of your mat, or maybe even over toward the right a little. Just a couple of breaths in the shape. And then if it's not there already, bring left hand back to the chest and we'll twist open again. So right fingertips reach up toward the ceiling. We lower down into a tabletop. And a cat-cow to let it go. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Coming into your neutral tabletop. And setting up for the second side, right hand coming in front of your face. Left fingertips reaching up toward the ceiling. Coming into those circles through the shoulder, a little bend in the elbow. And begin the rotation. So this could be any direction that feels right in your body. You could circle the arm toward the back or toward the front. And at any pace. And when you're ready, inhale, reach fingertips, left fingertips toward the ceiling, and we'll needle through the right arm for our twist. So slowly lowering. Maybe your shoulder finds the mat, maybe your head. The right fingertips maybe reaching up toward the top of the mat. Maybe they stay right where they are. And if you're like me, tops of my feet want to come up off of the floor. So you might guide your awareness down to the feet. And pressing tops of the feet into your mat. One more breath. And gently bringing your right hand back into the chest, and we'll twist open once again with left fingertips reaching toward the ceiling. Lowering into your tabletop. And a cat-cow here, inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Neutral tabletop. Feel free to stay right here or tuck your toes and lift into your upside down V, this downward facing dog. Maybe you start to move here by bending one knee at a time and pressing the opposite heel down, or moving in any other way that feels good in your body. If you're in tabletop, again, feel free to move or to stay still or to press back to a child's pose. Take a couple more breaths. If you're in your child's pose, coming up into a tabletop and press into downward facing dog just for a moment as we begin to walk hands, everybody walking hands back toward the feet to come into a forward fold. So as usual, finding the forward fold, it feels best for you. You might step feet a little wider. You might keep the connection to the floor with your hands, or maybe you grab an elbow in each hand. Move or stay still. And if you are bound in any way, release hands back to the earth. And we'll start to walk our hands up our legs. So I'm going to take a deeper bend in the knees and then just start to roll up through the spine as I walk hands up the legs until I am fully standing. Again, you might take a couple of bends through the knees. Just get blood up to the head. Rolling shoulders or settling in. And then from standing, step your feet a little wider. I'm going to turn to face you and set my leg out of the way. We're going to turn toes out just a bit, stepping a little wider, and a little bend in the knees. This is the stance you're looking for. And I'm going to turn again to see what we're looking at from the side. We're coming back to these hug breaths, but with bent knees, a little more room through the spine to move. On an inhale, come into the arch. On an exhale, round in through the spine. So opening up on an inhale, arms opening wide. Exhale, bringing arms together. I like to bring forearms together, what works for you. And exhale. So inhale, opening up. Exhale, bringing it in. 2 more, inhale, open. And exhale, close. 1 more, inhale, open. And exhale, close. Straightening the legs and releasing arms by your side. Begin to heel toe feet a little closer. Coming back to more of a mountain pose with feet underneath the hips. From here, I'm going to turn to the back so you can see we're going to inhale, arms up. Grabbing your left wrist, reach tall, and then side stretch over toward the right. To switch sides, we'll inhale back up through center, grabbing the right wrist, tall, reach, and then side stretch over toward the left. Inhale, lift up through center. On your exhale, bring your hands toward your sacrum. If you can, fingertips face down. From here, we're going to squeeze elbows towards each other, shoulder blades pulling down the back. I'm going to turn to just a little different view. I like to take a little bend in the knees here, shift hips forward just a bit, so I can think about lifting breastbone up toward the ceiling, maybe chin lifts. Listening to lower back in this shape, though, we still lift through the crown of the head. You just squeeze elbows towards each other. And then we'll take a deep bend in the knees and begin to fold forward. So hands can stay right here, or if you have the space, go ahead and interlace hands and extend them toward the ceiling in a yoga mudra. Free to move in the shape. If this bothers shoulders at all, release your arms. And if you are bound or hands on the sacrum, release them toward the ground. On an inhale, find length in the spine, straighten your legs. Exhale, fold. Fingertips down, step back to a tabletop. Cross your ankles and have a seat. Take a moment to reconnect with your heart. So that can even be coming back to those taps of the breastbone. It does stimulate the thymus, so they also call it a heart massage. Or maybe you place your hand on your chest. And Mary Magdalene revealed, Megan Watterson says, there will never be a voice outside of you that is wiser than your soul voice or holds more authority over what is best for you. You need guidance and support, not to follow someone else's truth, but to remain loyal to your own. The voice that will guide you to your highest potential is within you. Pausing for a moment to honor your heart. To honor your truth. To honor your inner voice. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.